Welcome to the English Academy. Have you ever wondered why some people become rich while others, even after working for many years, continue to struggle with money? It is easy to think that rich people simply have better jobs, better luck, better connections, or better opportunities. Sometimes that is true. But it does not explain everything. Because two people can earn almost the same amount of money, live in the same city, have access to the same banks, the same internet, the same information, and even the same opportunities, yet after 10 or 20 years, their financial lives can look completely different. One person may have savings, investments, assets, and multiple sources of income. The other person may still be waiting for the next salary. So what creates this difference? Is it intelligence? Is it education? Is it luck? Is it family background? Or is there something much simpler hiding behind the results? The answer is not one secret investment. It is not one business idea. It is not one magical shortcut. The real difference is often found in the way a person thinks about money before the money even arrives. Money habits are powerful because they quietly control what happens to your income. Your income comes in. Your habits decide where it goes. Your habits decide what you keep. Your habits decide what you spend. Your habits decide what you invest. And eventually, your habits decide what your money becomes. This is why two people can receive the same opportunity and produce completely different results. One person sees extra income and immediately thinks about what to buy. Another person sees extra income and thinks about what this money can create. One person asks, "What can I afford?" Another person asks, "What can this money help me build?" That small difference in thinking can become a huge difference over time. And this is where we need to understand something important. Getting rich is usually not about looking rich. In fact, looking rich and becoming rich can be completely opposite behaviors. A person can have an expensive phone, expensive clothes, expensive restaurants, expensive vacations, and an expensive car, while having very little wealth. Another person can live simply, use an old phone, avoid unnecessary expenses, and quietly build investments. From the outside, the first person may look richer. But financially, the second person may be far ahead. This is one of the biggest money lessons people learn too late. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep and what your money can continue to produce. These are not the same thing. Imagine someone earns 100,000 rupees every month. That sounds like a strong income. But if that person spends 98,000 rupees every month, the income looks impressive but the financial foundation is weak. Now imagine another person earns 60,000 rupees but lives on 45,000 and uses the remaining 15,000 to build savings and investments. The second person may look less successful today. But over time, the second person is creating something powerful. A gap. A gap between income and spending. That gap is where wealth begins. Without that gap, there is no money available to build assets. And this brings us to the first major secret. Rich people do not simply focus on earning more. They focus on increasing the distance between what they earn and what they consume. Of course, earning more is important. You cannot save your way out of every financial problem. If your income is extremely low and your basic expenses are high, increasing income becomes necessary. But when income rises, another problem appears. Lifestyle inflation. A person gets a better salary and immediately upgrades everything. Better phone. Better car. Better house. More restaurants. More shopping. More subscriptions. More entertainment. More unnecessary payments. The salary increases. The lifestyle increases. And somehow, the financial pressure remains the same. This is why some people earn more and still feel broke. Their income grows, but their expectations grow at the same speed. A person who earns 30,000 may think, if I earn 60,000, all my problems will disappear. Then the person earns 60,000. Suddenly the lifestyle becomes more expensive. Then the person thinks, if I earn 1 lakh, I will finally be comfortable. The income becomes 1 lakh. And again, expenses rise. This cycle can continue for years. The problem is not always the size of the income. Sometimes the problem is the size of the lifestyle. This does not mean you should never enjoy your money. Money is meant to improve life. You should enjoy the results of your hard work. But there is a difference between enjoying money and becoming controlled by consumption. A financially strong person gives every rupee a purpose. Some money pays for life. Some money protects the future. Some money buys freedom. Some money creates more money. That is a completely different relationship with income. And the most important part is that this relationship starts before you become rich. You do not develop rich money habits after becoming wealthy. In many cases, you become wealthy because you develop strong money habits before you had wealth. This is why waiting to earn more before learning money management can be a dangerous mistake. You may receive more money later. But if your habits remain the same, the extra money may simply disappear faster. More money does not automatically create financial freedom. Better financial decisions do. Think about water flowing through a pipe. If the pipe has many holes, increasing the amount of water does not solve the problem. More water simply leaks out. Your income is the water. Your financial habits are the pipe. If your habits are full of leaks, higher income may only mean bigger leaks. So before asking, how can I earn more? Ask another question. Where is my money leaking? Maybe it is unnecessary shopping. Maybe it is impulse buying. Maybe it is debt. Maybe it is lifestyle pressure. Maybe it is buying things to impress people. Maybe it is spending because you are bored. Maybe it is spending because you are stressed. Maybe it is spending because everyone around you is spending. The reason matters. Because money is emotional. People like to believe that money decisions are logical. But many money decisions are emotional. We buy because we want to feel successful. We buy because we want approval. We buy because we want comfort. We buy because we want to reward ourselves. We buy because we are afraid of missing out. And businesses understand these emotions very well. That is why advertisements do not simply sell products. They sell feelings. They sell confidence. They sell status. They sell convenience. They sell belonging. If you do not understand this, you may spend your money trying to buy an emotion. And the emotion disappears. Then you need another purchase. This is how consumption becomes a habit. The wealthy mindset is different. It asks a harder question before spending. Is this purchase making my life better, or is it only making me feel better for a short time? That question alone can change your financial future. Because every purchase has 2 prices. The first price is the amount written on the bill. The second price is what that money could have become if you had used it differently. This second price is invisible. And most people never calculate it. 1,000 rupees spent today is not just 1,000 rupees. If invested consistently over many years, that money could become much more. This is the power of opportunity cost. When you spend money on one thing, you are also choosing not to use that money somewhere else. That does not mean every purchase is bad. It means every purchase is a decision. And financially successful people become very good at making conscious decisions. They do not ask only, can I buy it? They ask, should I buy it? That is a much stronger question. Anyone can learn to spend. Wealth requires learning to choose. The difference between, can I afford it, and, should I buy it, may look small, but it represents a completely different financial mindset. When someone asks, can I afford it, the person is usually checking whether the current bank balance is enough. When someone asks, should I buy it, the person is thinking about priorities, future goals, opportunity cost, and long-term value. This is why financial freedom is not simply about having a large bank balance. It is about having control. Control over your spending. Control over your decisions. Control over your emotions. And eventually, control over your time. Because the real purpose of wealth is not to collect numbers on a screen. The real purpose is freedom. Freedom to make choices without constantly worrying about money. Freedom to leave a bad situation. Freedom to spend time with family. Freedom to take a break. Freedom to start something new. Freedom to say no. And that freedom is built slowly. It begins with one of the most boring financial habits in the world. Knowing where your money goes. Most people know their salary. But they do not know their spending. They know exactly how much enters their account. They do not know how much disappears through small expenses. 500 here. 300 there. 1,000 somewhere else. Subscriptions. Food delivery. Shopping. Transport. Online purchases. Small entertainment expenses. None of them feels dangerous individually. But together, they can create a large leak. This is why tracking money is so powerful. Not because tracking itself makes you rich. But because awareness changes behavior. When you clearly see your spending, you start noticing patterns. You may discover that you spend more when you are stressed. Or more when you are bored. Or more on weekends. Or more when you receive your salary. Or more when you see other people buying things. Once you see the pattern, you can change the pattern. Without awareness, you are operating on autopilot. And autopilot is dangerous when your financial habits are weak. This is another difference between people who build wealth and people who constantly chase money. They pay attention. They know what they earn. They know what they spend. They know what they owe. They know what they own. They know what they are building. They do not need to be perfect. They simply need to be aware. The next major difference is how people treat extra money. Suppose you receive a bonus. You receive a tax refund. You earn money from a side project. You get a salary increase. You receive an unexpected amount. What happens next? For many people, extra money creates permission to spend. They think, this is extra money, so I can enjoy it. And there is nothing wrong with enjoying some of it. The problem begins when every increase in income becomes an increase in consumption. A financially disciplined person may divide the extra money. Some for enjoyment. Some for savings. Some for investment. Some for a useful goal. The exact percentage does not matter as much as the habit. The habit is this. Do not allow every increase in income to become an increase in lifestyle. That single rule can create a powerful difference over 10 years. Imagine your income increases by 20%. Instead of immediately increasing your lifestyle by 20%, you increase your lifestyle by 10% and direct the remaining 10% toward your financial future. Now every raise makes you stronger. Your lifestyle improves. But your wealth improves too. This is how income growth becomes wealth growth. Another important secret is that wealthy people often think in terms of assets and liabilities. An asset is something that can provide value or potentially generate income over time. A liability takes money from you or creates an ongoing financial obligation. The exact definition can become complicated, but the basic idea is simple. Ask yourself, is this purchase helping me build financial strength, or is it creating more financial pressure? A new phone may be useful. A car may be necessary. A house may be important. The point is not to call everything you buy a liability. The point is to understand the financial effect. A person can make a reasonable purchase and still become financially weak if the payment is too large for the income. This is why affordability is not only about the purchase price. It is about the ongoing cost. A car is not only the monthly payment. There is fuel, maintenance, insurance, repairs, depreciation, parking, and other costs. A bigger house is not only a bigger EMI or rent. There are maintenance costs, furniture, electricity, taxes, repairs, and lifestyle expectations. The financially mature person looks beyond the price tag. This is a habit that creates wealth because it forces you to see the complete picture. Another major difference is how people use debt. Debt itself is not automatically good or bad. The purpose, cost, and repayment ability matter. Debt used carefully can help someone acquire something useful. But expensive consumer debt can destroy wealth. Credit cards are a good example. A credit card can be a convenient payment tool. But when someone spends more than they can repay and carries expensive debt for months, the same tool can become a financial trap. The problem is not the card. The problem is the behavior behind the card. A financially disciplined person does not think, I have a credit limit of 1 lakh, so I can spend 1 lakh. The person thinks, my income and financial plan decide what I can spend, not my credit limit. That is a huge difference. A credit limit is not income. Borrowed money is not wealth. And a high bank balance for a few days does not mean you are financially strong. The next secret is delayed gratification. This sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful financial skills. Delayed gratification means you can say, I want this, but I do not need it today. That sentence gives you control. Without it, every desire becomes a purchase. With it, you create space between wanting and buying. And that space is where rational thinking can enter. You can wait 24 hours. You can compare prices. You can ask whether you really need it. You can think about the future. Sometimes you will still buy it. But now you are buying it because you chose it, not because the impulse controlled you. This is how small habits create large differences. The person who can control small impulses becomes better at controlling larger financial decisions. The person who cannot control small purchases may eventually struggle with larger lifestyle decisions. Money management is not only about mathematics. It is behavioral. Two people can understand compound interest. But only one may actually invest consistently. Two people can know the importance of saving. But only one may automate it. Two people can know that debt is expensive. But only one may avoid unnecessary borrowing. Knowledge is important. But behavior converts knowledge into results. And this is why financial education should not stop at learning terms. You can learn about stocks, mutual funds, real estate, businesses, taxes, and interest rates. But if your spending behavior is uncontrolled, knowledge alone will not save you. The strongest financial education is the ability to make good decisions repeatedly. Not once. Not for 1 month. Repeatedly. Because wealth is usually not created by one brilliant decision. It is created by hundreds of ordinary decisions. Save instead of waste. Invest instead of constantly consume. Learn instead of blindly follow. Compare instead of impulsively buy. Build skills instead of only chasing titles. Protect income instead of depending on one source forever. These decisions may look boring. But boring can become powerful when repeated for years. Now we reach another important difference. Rich people often focus on increasing their value. Poor financial thinking often focuses only on increasing salary. Salary matters. But your ability to solve valuable problems matters even more. If you can solve a problem that many people have, and you can solve it better, faster, or more efficiently, your earning potential can increase. This is why skills matter. Communication. Sales. Technology. Leadership. Management. Writing. Negotiation. Marketing. Problem solving. Financial knowledge. These skills can increase your economic value. And the good news is that skills can often be improved. Your current income is a number. Your ability is something you can develop. This changes the question. Instead of asking only, how can I get a higher salary? Ask, what skill can I build that makes me more valuable? That question can completely change your career. Because sometimes the fastest way to improve income is not working more hours. It is becoming better at something valuable. The market rewards value. Not always fairly. Not always immediately. But valuable skills create opportunities. And opportunities create choices. This is why investing in yourself can be one of the best investments. A course, a book, a mentor, practice, or learning a new skill may not produce money tomorrow. But it can increase your earning ability for years. The return may be much larger than the original cost. Of course, not every course is useful. Not every book is valuable. Not every mentor is trustworthy. Learning must be practical. The goal is not to collect certificates. The goal is to become capable. A certificate may open a door. A real skill helps you stay inside. And this brings us to another hidden habit. Wealthy thinking is often long-term thinking. Most people naturally think about today. What should I buy today? Where should I go today? How can I feel better today? Long-term thinking asks, what will this decision look like 5 years from now? That question is powerful. 5 years from now, will this debt help me or hurt me? 5 years from now, will this skill increase my income? 5 years from now, will this investment have grown? 5 years from now, will I be happy that I bought this? 5 years from now, will I regret not starting? The future is invisible, so people often ignore it. But your future financial life is being created by today's decisions. That is the secret most people discover too late. Your future does not suddenly arrive. It is built quietly. 1 month at a time. 1 decision at a time. 1 habit at a time. And when you understand this, you stop looking for a secret shortcut. You start looking for repeatable systems. A system is more powerful than motivation. Motivation can make you save money for 1 week. A system can make saving happen every month. Motivation can make you exercise for a few days. A system can make exercise part of your routine. Motivation can make you study 1 night. A system can make learning part of your life. The same principle applies to money. If you wait until the end of the month to save whatever is left, there may be nothing left. Instead, saving can happen automatically when income arrives. This is the principle of paying yourself first. The idea is simple. When money comes in, do not treat saving as the final step. Treat it as one of the first steps. Income arrives. A planned amount goes toward savings or investments. Then the remaining money is used for expenses. This changes your behavior because you learn to live within the remaining amount. If you always spend first and save later, your lifestyle will usually consume the available money. But when saving happens first, your lifestyle adjusts. This is not about making life miserable. It is about giving your future a place in your current budget. And this leads to another powerful concept. Financial freedom requires a system that works even when you are not motivated. You will not always feel disciplined. Some months will be difficult. Unexpected expenses will appear. You may have family responsibilities. You may have medical or emergency costs. You may have a period when income is lower. That is normal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is resilience. This is why an emergency fund matters. An emergency fund is not exciting. It does not make you look rich. It may sit quietly for months. But when something unexpected happens, it can protect you from taking expensive debt. This is one of the hidden forms of wealth. Peace of mind. Having money available for emergencies gives you options. And options are valuable. Imagine two people facing the same unexpected expense. One has no savings and must borrow. The other has an emergency fund and can pay without destroying the monthly budget. The income may be similar. The lifestyle may be similar. But the financial position is different because one person prepared earlier. Preparation is another secret of wealth. Rich financial behavior often looks boring before the emergency happens. But it looks brilliant when the emergency arrives. The same is true for investing. People often want investment results without investment patience. They want fast returns. They want certainty. They want to know exactly what will happen. But long-term investing is largely about accepting uncertainty while following a sensible plan. The important lesson is not to chase every trend. When something becomes popular, people rush in. When prices rise, excitement increases. When prices fall, fear increases. Emotion can make people buy high and sell low. A long-term investor understands that markets can move up and down. The goal is not to predict every movement. The goal is to build a diversified, suitable investment strategy based on your goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon. This is not financial advice for one specific person. It is a principle. Do not invest simply because someone online says, "This will make you rich." Ask questions. What am I investing in? How does it create value? What are the risks? What are the fees? What is my time horizon? What happens if the investment falls? Can I handle that fall without panicking? These questions protect you from emotional decisions. And another major difference is that wealthy people tend to respect risk. Some people think being rich means taking huge risks. Actually, financially intelligent behavior often means understanding risk before taking it. If one decision can destroy your entire financial future, it may not be a smart risk. A good opportunity should not require you to gamble everything. Risk management is part of wealth building. This applies to business too. If you start a business, do not only think about how much money you can make. Think about how much you can lose. Think about cash flow. Think about customer demand. Think about operating costs. Think about competition. Think about how long you can survive if growth is slow. This is how mature financial thinking works. It looks at both sides. Potential reward. Potential loss. Most people focus only on reward because reward is exciting. Wealthy thinking asks about survival first. Because if you survive long enough, you get more opportunities. If one mistake destroys everything, you lose the ability to participate in future opportunities. This is why protecting what you have is as important as building more. Insurance, emergency savings, diversification, reasonable debt, and careful contracts may not sound exciting. But they protect the foundation. And you cannot build a strong financial future on a weak foundation. Another powerful habit is avoiding comparison. Comparison is one of the biggest enemies of financial progress. You look at someone else's car, someone else's house, someone else's vacation, someone else's clothes, someone else's business, someone else's lifestyle, and suddenly your own life feels smaller. Then you spend money to catch up. But you may be competing with a person whose financial situation you know nothing about. Maybe the car is financed. Maybe the house has a huge loan. Maybe the vacation was paid with debt. Maybe the expensive lifestyle is being supported by family. Maybe the person earns much more. Maybe the person is struggling privately. You do not know. So comparing your financial life with someone's appearance is irrational. Wealth is often invisible. A person with a simple lifestyle and strong investments may be financially ahead of the person showing luxury every day. This is why one of the smartest financial habits is learning to ignore unnecessary status competition. You do not need to prove your success through consumption. You need to build success that works even when nobody is watching. That is a powerful idea. Build wealth privately. Let your assets grow quietly. Let your skills grow quietly. Let your savings grow quietly. Let your discipline grow quietly. You do not need applause for every financial decision. In fact, sometimes the smartest decision is the one nobody notices. Choosing a normal car. Cooking at home. Avoiding unnecessary debt. Learning after work. Investing regularly. Saying no to expensive social pressure. These decisions may not impress people today, but they can completely change your future. And there is another important money habit. Knowing the difference between wants and needs. This does not mean living with nothing. It means understanding priorities. Food is a need. A luxury restaurant is a want. Basic transportation may be a need. A premium car may be a want. A phone may be necessary. Upgrading every year may be a want. A home may be necessary. A much larger home may be a lifestyle choice. The point is not to eliminate wants. The point is to control them. A financially strong person can say, "I can afford this, but I do not need it." That sentence represents maturity. Because freedom is not the ability to buy everything. Freedom is the ability to choose what is worth buying. This also changes the meaning of a budget. Many people think a budget is a punishment. It is not. A budget is a plan for your money. Without a plan, money follows emotion. With a plan, money follows priorities. A good budget should include the things that matter to you. If you love travel, include travel. If you care about education, include education. If family is important, include family goals. If you want to build a business, include business capital. A budget becomes easier when it reflects your values. The goal is not to spend the least. The goal is to spend intentionally. There is a huge difference between cheap and financially smart. Buying the cheapest product every time is not always wise. Sometimes quality saves money. Sometimes a more expensive product lasts longer. Sometimes a cheaper product creates more repairs. The financially intelligent decision considers value, not simply price. This is how wealthy thinking works. It looks beyond the immediate number. It asks, what am I really getting for this money? The same principle applies to time. Time is an asset. If you spend 10 hours doing something that produces little value, the cost is not only 10 hours. It is the opportunity to use those 10 hours differently. This is why successful people become careful with time. They learn to delegate. They automate. They remove unnecessary activities. They focus on high-value work. And this is where money and time connect. You can always earn more money. But you cannot earn back yesterday. So building wealth should not mean sacrificing your entire life. The goal is to create a system where your money gradually gives you more control over your time.